Hello and a warm welcome back to the TNC Podcast. I assume you're a Norwich City fan, and if so, you're supporting the team joint top of the Championship at the moment. A warm welcome back. Chris, good to see you.
Cheers, old boy.
How's life?
A shirt that I've not seen you sport on the TNC Podcast.
You know what? A friend of ours, who we haven't spoken about for a long while actually, Sam Caps, once gave me...
Okay.
But not this one, because the one he gave me had Premier League patches on.
Right, okay.
I honestly don't know where this has come from, but I found it in my drawer and I thought, I actually quite like this shirt.
Oh no, I thought it had Wolfie on the back.
No. Oh no, I've got that's the white one.
Oh yeah, that's a classic Jack Reed.
Yeah.
I've seen that many times.
But yeah, saw this in the drawer. It was a large. It fits my gut. Happy days.
What's the first Norwich player you think of when you think of that shirt?
Ooh, this one.
For me, Snotty.
Snotty.
100% Snotty. I can see him swearing at the snake pit now.
Leroy Fair.
Yes. Yeah.
The first game that pops up, I think they were wearing this top. Remember the game when we beat West Ham? Snoddy scored in that. I think Fair scored in that game as well.
Maybe that's why West Ham bought him off us.
Yeah. He's still going well. Snoddy.
He is up north in the SPL now.
Yeah.
Cheers to Snoddy.
Cheers to Scotland.
He said to me so many times, he's like, I'm not going to try and do a Scottish impression. He's like, Revo, I'll do it when I'm retired. Like, I've pestered him for a pod
and
so many times.
Maybe that's the reason he's still playing.
I've literally worked with the guy and he won't give me a pod. So, but look, top man, big up to Snoddy. Jack, before we start...
I mean, I was going to say, we mentioned shirts.
Yeah.
We can't go without saying you've got a Zambia shirt.
Well, absolutely.
And I love this sleeve patch.
It's nice, isn't it?
2013.
Oh, the sleeve patch.
Africa Cup of Nations, sponsored by Orange, who I don't think exist anymore.
Well,
it is a genuinely glorious shirt.
Orange are big in Africa, mate.
But I actually don't think they're still going anywhere.
Oh, okay.
I don't think so. I think they got bought out or something.
2 sips of Lakens. No. I'm wearing this tonight just as a nice little... tribute to Enoch Mwepu, who has had to hang up his boots, unbelievably, at 24 years of age.
At Brighton.
And I think it's just awful news.
It's horrendous.
And really feel for the lad, despite the fact that he plays for Brighton and he plays in blue and white. My thoughts go out to him and his family as well. It's so sad, isn't it? To think of your whole career ahead of you, 24 years old, you break into the Brighton, you get a big Premier League move, and then you say, and then he gets told he can't play anymore. It's awful, isn't it?
Well, it was hereditary heart disease, wasn't it? And I was listening to TalkSport this morning, and Graham Souness doesn't come out with too much wisdom, but he was saying he suffered really badly with heart issues.
Did he?
Towards the latter stages of his career. And he's an ambassador for the British Heart Foundation now.
Right.
And he was saying, a perfect example here.
Right.
Fit and healthy man.
Yeah.
Anything, just go and get yourself checked out. Even if you're feeling fit.
Yeah.
You never know.
Do you know, it's actually, I didn't expect to talk about heart health on this podcast, but it's actually true though. My brother, my little brother Dan, he always wanted to join the army, right?
Oh, right.
Fit as a fiddle, smoked like a trooper, right? And then gets into
I've never
the
heard
army.
Those two sentences go together.
No, but that's the thing, right? He smoked like a trooper. He was as fit as a fiddle. Honestly, He could run, he could jump, he could do everything, right? Smashed all the fitness tests. And when it came down to his medical, they found out he had an extra valve on his heart.
No way.
Yeah, and that's my point. And I actually just genuinely think that is a good message from you, Jack. Like, genuinely, if you can get yourself checked out, get yourself checked out. And also, another thing that we should say before we start, day of filming, which is yesterday, when this has come out, is World Mental Health Day. And of course, one of our official charity partners of the season, Norfolk and Waverley Mind, are definitely absolutely all over that. So this episode is dedicated to those guys tonight.
Yeah, absolutely. I think, it was lovely on the watch along last week. Hundreds of pounds raised. I think we're up to about nearly 400 quid now.
Yeah.
So that's really positive.
Good start.
But I think that encapsulates what it is to keep on top of your mental health, checking in with each other, talking to people.
Yeah.
I often think mental health feels like quite a big thing, but actually, if you stay on top of it, you keep in touch with your mates, you check in, you do things every day that helps you.
Yeah.
You can stay in touch.
I like that, Jack. And I think my point on that is, I think we're now beyond the point of just saying, just talk. I think it's time to take action. And that's not just for people that proclaim they have poor mental health. It's for the people that actually think they're absolutely fine. It's important to be proactive and take action. Do all of those things that you should: a healthy diet, exercise, etc. Set reminders to check in with your friends, your family, your mates, all of that stuff. And the key thing for me, which people don't speak about enough, is vulnerability is a tremendous strength. We've seen it so many times in this podcast, Jack. The guests, when they open up, that's the true strength, and particularly blokes, and I know a lot of blokes watch this podcast. Please open up, please talk about your mental health, and if you do need any support, please contact the guys at Norfolk Waverley Mind.
Yeah, they'll be more than happy to. I think that's a good point about sometimes, if I'm feeling anxious about something or down about something, I don't want to talk, I just want to do something, go for a walk, go for a swim, something like that, play some golf, and sometimes that helps. Norfolk and Waverley Mind, certainly the best place to go if you want to chat to someone, I think.
100%.
Do we want to talk about Norwich?
Yeah, podcast finished.
Norwich, man. It was going so well.
The roller coaster has begun.
Where do you want to start? Because I think the last time we filmed was post West Brom at home.
Yeah, pre-Blackpool. So we've obviously beat Blackpool.
Good win.
We drew against Reading. Less than desirable.
Yeah.
I fucking hate Reading Football Club so much. Do you know as well? We did the watch.
They played okay that night.
Oh no, Jack! Don't give me that. They didn't play okay.
Andy Carroll was good.
Oh, they're just painstakingly average, and that's the worry for me. That is the worry for me. I'm not sure it's as easy as saying we're getting found out, because I think it's too early to say that. But for a club like Reading to get a result against you is a worry.
But isn't that just the Championship?
No, it's not. You've got to beat the shit, and they're shit, and we didn't beat them.
But in previous promotion campaigns under Daniel Farke, there was plenty of times when we drew or lost at home or away.
An important
it's a very average side.
An important point.
And Watford, who I keep hearing are apparently the bee's knees in the Championship and are apparently going to be the big test, just got pumped 3-1 by Blackpool.
Saw that result, and it has put wind in my sails ahead of that game this weekend.
And who did they lose to the previous week? Swansea.
Yeah.
So they've lost 2 in a row, but they're going to be the big test apparently.
Oh, Russell Martin. I love that from you.
I do love what Ross is doing. He reminds me of the rich man's Mikel Arteta. Trust the process.
Do you know, I'm starting to hear people talk about this now. Like, the fan base is so divided on Russ Martin.
Yeah.
You either think he's an absolute legend, nice guy, can do no wrong, or you don't like him because he was put out for all of the media interviews when we got thumped in the Premier League, and you're just you've been lost in that.
He will be the Norwich manager one day, I'm sure.
Do you know the thing on that, Jack, is I just sort of wish. How do I say this? I wish we didn't know him, and I also wish that he wasn't as much of a legend, right? Because, say, I love Warniola. We love Warniola. I'm sure most Norwich fans love Paul Warne as well, right? How many times has he beaten Ipswich for Rotherham? He's a proper Norwich fan, been on this podcast as well. But if he becomes the Norwich manager, I'm all right with it, because I sort of think, well, yeah, he is a fan, but he's not a legend. And I think the risk with Russ is that it I don't know, it sort of smells a bit gunny to me. And
couldn't that be the reward as well?
I know it would mean so much more to see him giving it the pump to the Barclay, but anyway, we've got Dino and John. Yeah, let's not talk about Russ. But going back to Watford, you're right. An opportunity at Vicarage Road.
It is
on Saturday night, and I'm looking forward to it.
So we drew against Reading. It was far from ideal, although we did take the lead in that game.
Yes.
It then sets up what feels like a really good opportunity at home against Preston, a side that had remarkably scored 4 and conceded 4 all season. Genuinely one of the most astonishing starts to a championship season. This team seemingly didn't score nor concede goals. And with 80 minutes at Carrow Road gone, it's 3-2 to Preston.
Yeah.
Norwich looked, that first 10 minutes, I think that was the finest 10-minute display for our season. We looked really good. Sargent with the opener, we had a couple more chances.
Yeah. Gibbs was playing like Iniesta. Nunez was like a prime Pele. It was outrageous, mate.
But then they get, I can't even remember what their first, the free header.
And see, this is the thing. We went in front against Reading. We let them back into it. Pathetic. It was a pathetic goal. It was. Like, we had to do better for that goal. The same again in the last game as well. Like, we're letting teams... I think, Jack, and I think you said this to me, or Craigo said it to us in the Barclay. What is it about this Norwich City team at the moment where we look brilliant? We keep possession. We're playing some really nice forwards, quite fast, what I would call proactive football. Arguably more direct than what we did under Daniel Farke.
Certainly was first 10.
And absolutely. But then we seem, as soon as we go a goal ahead, and that is when the cliche is, that's when you're most vulnerable, we don't shut up shop. It's almost like we've become less streetwise in the last maybe 3 to 4 games. Is that fair? Or am
I think it is.
over-exaggerating?
I think the Reading one was more frustrating for me because we were properly grinding first half, and I think we were fortunate to get in at 0-0.
That was a terrible game.
We get in a goal, we score a goal, which was a nice finish from Hanley actually, and you think, right, we don't deserve this, but now's opportunity.
Yeah.
See out the next 10 minutes, and Reading will wean off. And then it was such a sloppy goal, and I think we'll get on to Tim Krul shortly. But it was the same against Preston. You score early, see it out until half-time, or just try and find a second. Yeah. And instead, it was a really weak first goal to give away. Yeah. It was free header. The second one, again, really sloppy. And the third was poor goalkeeping. So, but actually, having said all of that, I think it was one of our better performances this season.
And I want to actually talk about this very point, Jack, is that there was a lot of people that were saying, this is shit, this is boring, it doesn't matter, but we were winning games of football.
Yeah.
Which is the objective in a game of football, is to win. I'd rather have 5% possession and win 1-0.
Would you?
Every single game from now to the rest of the season to make sure we get Premier League 100%.
Because interestingly,
we played the most entertaining football against Preston and we lost.
Well, interestingly, I saw a few people on Twitter that I follow that I suspect you don't follow for this very reason, who was saying, I'd actually prefer to lose in that fashion than grind out a 1-0.
Seriously, nonsense. That is Norwich City nutter nonsense. Seriously. No, I need to stamp on that. Look, if you think
so,
that, let me know in the comments.
Do you go to the football to be entertained or to win?
Well, I think it can change. So historically, I've gone to the football to be entertained, right? But after last season, I'm so bruised. I'm so embarrassed from last season. I feel like I'm beaten up. And I just need looking after now. And looking after me, personally, as a fan now, is winning games of football. I don't give a fuck how we do it, Jack. I don't care if it's a deflection off Kenny McLean's arse to win 1-0 every game now. I don't care. Just win. We were embarrassed in the Premier League. Just win. It doesn't matter. And I just think any fan now that is sitting there saying, I'd rather lose and play like that every week, I think you've absolutely lost the plot.
I think, I agree. And I wouldn't necessarily say there was a particularly different style to the game on Saturday. It was just a bit bonkers. Like, all of the goals were slightly balmy. Let's cut to the chase.
Go on.
Tim Krul.
Oh, wow.
Or Angus Gunn.
We're going with that straight away. That's punchy.
For me...
Can we not start on a positive?
For me... 3 of the 4 goals conceded in the last week have been partly Tim Krul's fault. Goal against Reading, near post, should save it. Second goal against Preston, his fault.
Should be shut.
Third goal against Preston, near post. And I'm just looking at a player in Angus Gunn, Premier League experience, done well for Norwich before, clearly not wanting to be here to sit on the bench.
Last game was man of the match.
You'll look at him, is that right? You'll look at him and going, hello. If I'm Angus, I'm fuming at the moment, and I'm knocking on Dean's door until the hinges come off.
I'm really torn on this.
You're Angus's biggest fan.
I know, but this is my, that's, just put that to one side a minute. I'm torn on this because Tim is such a legend. I suck at football punditry because I'm completely biased, okay?
But you can't look at previous...
But I just think look, I think Tim is having what I would call a challenging patch. Okay, I think a couple of the goals you've highlighted there, the player should absolutely be shut down before he even gets a shot away.
But
the amount of space,
that's
Jack,
irrelevant.
is embarrassing.
He should save it.
The amount of
That's
space
irrelevant.
is embarrassing.
He should save it.
I will politely and respectfully disagree. Let us
So
know
you
if
think
disagree.
a keeper getting beaten at the near post twice in a week is acceptable? Because that's what you're saying.
I just find it hard to beat Tim up because.
No, so do I, and I love Tim, but
Do you think? Do you really think he deserves to be dropped?
yes, I think it's unfair and disrespectful to Angus Gunn not to be playing him. He's proven himself in cup competitions this season. He's proving.
Mate, I love Gunny, and for sure he's the future. That's why we bought him. I almost didn't expect.
But I'm looking at this longer term as well.
Yeah,
because if I'm
yeah.
Angus and my opportunities come and I haven't been played, in January I'm going. Oh.
Okay, here's something else, right? And you feel free to beat me up and disagree with me on this. The other reason why I like Tim Krul being number one is that he carries massive, massive leadership qualities that this squad have been sapped of at the start of last season under Daniel Farker. Anyone with personality, out the door. It's always been that way, to be fair. And I feel like Tim Krul is almost the last bastion of that. And maybe I lean a bit too much towards passion and leadership and loyalty and, big moments and big games. I feel a bit uneasy of the criticism that Tim's been getting because I just think he's had a challenging patch. And I could fully imagine him starting against Watford and having an absolute blinder, by the way. And I really hope he does. But I must say, I think Dean Smith might change it. And I'm okay with that because, as you know, I'm Gunny's biggest fan.
I agree.
I love the boys' bits.
I'm not coming at this from
Brilliant
a
goalkeeper.
disrespectful tone in any sense. I think the leadership is a shout. I think he's got the option to be vocal and to be influential from the dressing room. I think Angus is also vocal, and
Yes.
I think will command respect from his defenders in front of him.
Yeah.
I've just looked at Tim's performances over the past few weeks and gone, I think it's Angus's time to shine.
What a good problem to have for
Brilliant.
Dino, though.
He's got options.
You got Tim Krul, who got Angus. I mean, and actually, by the way, they're both putting pressure on it. Tim Krul, I've no doubt, is looking over his shoulder,
100%.
thinking, "Fucking hell, Gunny's on I'm at risk here."
Yeah,
he'll know it. But also, Angus is like, "Here's my moment. Here's my moment," and I'm sure inside he's buzzing to get out there again to prove a point. And I think that's really good. Oh, and by the way, don't forget. The Irish Buffon, Mickey McGovern, international standard goalkeeper as your number 3. Happy holidays.
Yeah.
You're laughing, aren't you?
Absolutely.
I was actually thought you were going to start, though, Jack, by praising Sargent. We need to praise him again. I thought he was brilliant against Preston.
Yeah, he was good.
I thought he was brilliant against Preston. Do you know what I liked about what he did against Preston, Jack? Obviously, in those first 10 minutes when we turned into vintage Brazil, was he picked the ball up with it, right? But he wasn't just giving it a basic sideways pass. He was actually challenging players.
Yeah.
For the first time, I've seen him. Maybe it's not the first time. Maybe I've just not paid attention to it until that game against Preston. He seems really confident now, and he was so up for it. Like, I know that he chases the ball down anyway. I know that his work rate is excellent. And that's what he's been complimented for in the past. But he was seriously. I mean, I would be drug testing him after that Preston game just because of how much he gave it. And I loved how he picked the ball up. He brought it to the opposition. He was trying to take players on. And by the way, I like this. Just fucking get a shot away. That first goal, just fucking get a shot away. Just force a save. Oldest trick in the book. Early on, early doors, yeah? Take a pot shot from distance, make the keeper wobble and have to make a save. 100%.
And it gets the crowd up.
Get a corner, gets the crowd up. But this time, it goes in the back of the net.
Yeah.
You're absolutely laughing.
Well, I think I agree. I think Josh was good on Saturday.
So good.
It once again highlighted for me, you have to play him centrally to get the best out of him. And I must say, for the first time this season...
you say that because I'm well ready to say it.
For the first time this season, if Timu Pukki wasn't to be in the starting lineup come Saturday, I wouldn't be upset.
No, I wouldn't either.
And that's not necessarily...
For you to say that is big.
That's not necessarily because I thought Pukki was poor on Saturday, missed a couple of really good chances.
Yeah. Absolute sitters on a silver platter.
I just think for Dean Smith, in the way he's trying to play, you need Sargent centrally, and it's not working with the two.
I've said it before. I think there's something off about Timu. Yes, he's been delivering. Look, I'm not going to be.
It's difficult, isn't it? Because it's Timu Pukki.
This is the thing.
And he's a fucking good finisher.
Yeah, but what you're saying about Pukki is what I'm saying about Krul. There's like this loyalty, personality thing there, and
I think the one with Krul and Gunn is a bit easier because it's just one in, one out.
Yeah.
I'm looking at
almost
this
like a system thing.
for a system.
I know.
And I think having watched the game against Millwall and Huddersfield when Pukki was injured and Sargent played through the middle, I think if we were to play in that style more often, we'd win more games. I think if we played that on Saturday, we win that game 2-3-0.
Do you know what I'm getting a bit of taste of as well? The Irish R9
is he back yet?
He's gonna come back.
Well, because
the Irish R9 in a system with Sargent at the top of the Christmas tree.
Yeah.
Really, really, really. That seriously really gets me going.
Well, that was the small chunk of success and very small chunk of success that we saw in the Premier League.
Everton at home.
Basically that. But that did work.
But to finalise on Pukki, right? Like he missed 2 sitters, and I feel like we're trying to appease it at the moment. It's like, well, we know Pukki scores goals in the Championship, so we have to start him. And I do agree with that, but I think it's got to the point where, and I think it was actually Dean Smith himself in the press conference, Jack. He said, he mentioned Timu Pukki's, I'll call it overload, or was it maybe he just plays all the time?
Yeah.
He plays every week for Norwich for pretty much the whole game, and he plays every single game for Finland as well, and he's done that for the last 4 seasons.
Yeah.
So I just think it's healthy. Let's not make this too much of a negative Timu thing. Let's just say Timu needs a rest. And what a great option that we've got now. Yeah? Josh Sargent, confident as hell, scoring goals. It's a better system. I think we're in agreement. If you agree or disagree, let us know in the comments.
Yeah.
It's a better system with Sargent.
I think it probably works slightly. We're going up against Watford on Saturday. Slightly better quality team, probably have slightly less of the ball. When you've got Sargent hustling and harrying up front.
Was Pukki injured the last time we played Watford? Because I don't remember him in that Salon kit. Do you remember
No,
that Salon
he did,
kit?
because he played the cross for the Scorpion kick. He sort
Did
of...
he?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, McLean. It was a miss pass from Kenny, and then
They thought he fouled the Watford player.
It was Timu.
Anyway, I tell you what, the only slight Dean Smith criticism I've got...
Go on.
I couldn't quite work out what he was trying to do when we were chasing the game on Saturday.
Agreed.
It felt for me like he saw a load of attacking midfielders on his bench,
right,
and just went, I'm just going to throw them all on and hope for the best. Kieran Dow...
But he didn't do that because it was staggered. I would have understood it. If he'd made those subs, but made them all at once, I would have actually gone, fair play. Fresh legs, bang, now. But it was too staggered and even O'Neill, who everyone knows.
I mean, you had Onel, Dowell, Sinani, and Sarah all come on, staggered across 20 minutes.
And we must talk about Sarah, but we'll leave that for now. I agree, and I would also say, I would criticise the substitutions in that game. I looked at them and it just didn't. You knew it wasn't going to be the key to the door. 2
players who have really frustrated me in probably the last month or so.
I know one of them.
Dowell?
And
Sinani. I was so excited about Sinani first few games. Really gone off the boil. Maybe because he's not getting too much game time.
I thought you were going to say Nunes.
No, because you can see the quality there.
Okay.
Dowell, I've seen nothing from all season.
Okay.
And I know, and again, I don't want to say it, but Onel, his final ball.
No. Yeah, but let's stay laser focused on this.
Yeah.
Before the Preston game, the final ball has been fine.
It hasn't though.
No,
he hasn't.
Before that, there was a good patch where Anel came on and he was the impact sub that we know he is and can be. But
I'm genuinely not sure if he's registered more than one assist this season.
I agree that against Preston, it wasn't good. And he'll know that. The thing is, I think you're right to talk about Dowell. Doesn't offer enough. Nice bloke, doesn't offer enough. But a player where you can't really complain, good, solid squad player. Snotty, I mean, I now understand why Huddersfield players are saying, yeah, he's good, but he's not consistent. And Norwich City are seeing the same scenario that Huddersfield fans saw last season. A player that could turn a game on its head, and you go, who's that lad? Or a player where you go, bloody Nora, what is this? And that is unfortunately the player that we saw against Preston. So disappointing, so disappointing. And I think the thing is though, Jack, is that it's very easy for us and for Norwich City fans to cite the fringe players and maybe the lone players or some of the newer squad members and criticise them. But actually, I think Norwich City's biggest challenge at the moment is actually our more experienced players aren't performing to high enough levels, because they absolutely should be. They absolutely should be. And I think if those players step up, the new lads seamlessly, as we've seen, because we went on a 9 game unbeaten run, right? So we know these lads can play. We know they can play together. I just think that those experienced lads haven't. I think the last three especially, like I know we won against Blackpool, but it's Blackpool.
And we won.
Reading and Preston, you've got the individual errors that were being made, the shape, the amount of space given to Preston was shocking. The defending was embarrassing against Preston. It really was. They're not. I mean, for fuck's sake, they had Parrott up front, who used to play for Ipswich, for God's sake.
And they'd scored 4 all season.
I know.
But anyway, let's do some Twitter questions.
I think. Let's do that. But before we do that, Gabriel Sarah to start. Any interest?
Yeah, lots.
Good. Oh,
Twitter.
Well,
once again, a remarkable turnout from the TNC Podcast listeners for questions this week. We'll start with Carl Skillings. Hello from Carl, watching all the way from Minnesota.
Wow. Hello, Carl.
I think the result against Preston's been coming. Do you think we're just going to win every game? Is a bit dreamy. It's not the end of the world. We scored a couple of important goals. Sargent and Sarah both needed them. Dust down and go again. Do you agree?
I love that from you.
I think that. Let's talk about Sarah, because I was a bit blunt there. Really impressed me on Saturday.
Yeah.
Loved what he was saying after the game.
Yeah.
Saying how he's really enjoying the city, the culture, the climate. Don't know about that, Gabriel, but I think we've had a good summer. When the winter hits, he might not be quite so cheery. I've been wanting that performance from our record signing.
Yeah.
And I saw it.
And I doubted myself, because it was, I think, the Reading game that I tweeted saying, is it just a classic football fan thing to do, to say the answer to our problems is on the bench?
Yes.
And it is, but I really liked what I saw against Preston. So I just think it's and we've seen this in the Farke era. We've seen it in our eras, but we've seen it in the Farke era for sure. I think sometimes foreign players just take a bit of time to settle in. Yeah. And it might be half season, it might be a full season. But I think, obviously Sarah's not hit the ground running because he's not started games of football for Norwich City. But I think Dean Smith now, I think we need to be mixing up that midfield. And I think Gabriel Sarah is a sure starter.
Who would you put him in for? You've got options. Gibbs, Nunez, or McLean.
I think at the moment, I think it would be Sarah in for McLean.
Yeah.
I just look at Gibbs again against Preston. I think, fucking hell.
Amazingly, I'm just looking. I won't say what app I'm using, but McLean was given not the man of the match in general, but he was on ratings Norwich's best player on Saturday.
Well, there you go.
And I don't think Kenny's been the best this season, but he does a lot of work that doesn't get credit. I think he's solid.
I think the problem is at the moment is that, and I call it under the magnifying glass. There's certain players that throughout periods in the season will be under the magnifying glass. So, for example, at the moment, Tim Krul from now for the next 3 games will be very much under that, and Norwich fans will be looking at it and being really critical of any mistake he makes, because he's under the magnifying glass. Whereas a player like, I don't know, Nunes, for example, that doesn't do tons wrong, it will never be on him until he makes a big mistake. And unfortunately,
but that's fine. That's natural.
But we've had this so many times with so many players. The one I always liken this to is actually the Murphy twins. Funnily enough, when you are a player in what I would call a friction-based role, right, which is where
you just made that up because I quite like it.
Well, it's true though, isn't it?
No, I like it.
Yeah,
it's clever.
You're in a role and there's a lot of friction. It's true.
No, it is. Don't
take the piss out of me, mate. I'm only half.
No. I'm laughing because I'm impressed you've come up with it.
It's physical. You're doing a lot of work. You're putting in a lot of miles. You're trying to connect the back line into actually the forward line. I mean, you're the melting pot. You're the engine room. It's arguably the most important position on the pitch, right? It's bloody tough. It's bloody tough. And I think that when you're in a friction-based role, aka basically in the midfield, where you have to take risks,
an FBR,
like that, love that from you. Look, I think you're getting criticised more. I think the reason why we've had the magnifying glass over Kenny in the last few weeks, if not longer, is that there are a few misplaced passes when we're building an attack,
I agree.
Which is tough.
I agree. Jonathan Parker with a question that I'm thinking of myself
Jonathan.
at the same at the moment.
Go on.
How can a back five that on paper looks so good and the strongest in division still have horror shows like Saturday? I completely agree.
Jonathan's calling you out there because you came out with that nonsense in the last podcast.
I agree with Jonathan.
I think this defence is the strongest in the league. Mate, you are having a bubble bath.
I agree with Jonathan, and I will stand by it. On paper,
what does on paper mean?
I think that this defence, because you said earlier, you expect the more experienced players to be stepping up. Well, I'll say that right now. I think we need a bit more from Hanley. I think a player that we need to put more under the FBR, the magnifying glass.
Yep.
Max Aarons.
Okay.
I think he's escaping a lot of criticism at the moment. I think he was poor on Saturday. Look, I think Max Aarons has been
the goal.
Let me say my thing. Max Aarons has been a consistently good performer throughout this season.
Yeah.
But lots of the goals we've conceded this season have come from his side or from his personal issues.
Personal issues?
Well, mistakes.
Personal issues?
Not off the pitch.
I was going to say.
To
clarify, there's no personal issues.
Max is exciting. Bundles of talent. Consistent performer. One of our best players throughout the last 3 seasons. But he's not devoid of errors.
Yes. And I wanted to zoom in on this because I don't think it's fair that anyone escapes criticism. This is the thing that I bring up about, people are very quick to jump on Timmy Krul's back, but that Preston winner, how has Max not stopped that?
Yeah, well, that's what I mean. He's part to play.
I agree. Next question.
Sorry, before we get, I don't know why this has just come into my mind. We've completely forgotten
what
Norwich actually did score a genuine third goal, and it was disallowed.
Do you know what?
And I've watched it back.
I must be losing my marbles if I had any anyway. I've watched that clip on social media, I'd say 56 times.
Yeah.
I can't even bloody see a foul.
There isn't.
I can't. Do you know what? I've zoomed in, I've recorded it, I've cut it, I've put it in my blooming editing tool. I've asked someone else to look at it. I've asked the missus to look at it. I mean, I might ask a data scientist. I cannot see what happened. If it has, it must be so light.
Michael Bailey said that the referee had been looking for it all game, and it wasn't a foul. The only thing that allowed me
Michael Bailey said that?
Yeah, on Twitter.
It must be sensible.
The only thing that allowed me to sleep relatively peacefully at night, because I was so angry about it, Darren Eady tweeted, replied, because I said it was a nonsensical decision, and said the whistle went early enough that the defenders that were challenging McLean backed off. And he said if the whistle hadn't have blown, they would have blocked it. Now,
it's the standard of officiating again.
Yeah, but I'd rather that than VAR.
Oh, 100%. Oh, mate, I totally agree with that.
This is why I don't want to get too annoyed about it.
Yeah, because at least it's something to moan at that's not technology.
Yeah, and look, we've had it go for us this season. I look back to that Coventry goal. Remember that when they equalised?
And also against Preston. Preston fans have got a great point.
Red card.
Sammy Byram, red card all day long. Yeah. So we get away with one there.
Yeah.
Question from Finn Bassett on Twitter. By the way, what a second name that is.
Bassett, yeah.
Let's see if he's got a bio. Hang on a minute. Oh, for God's sake, I've lost it. Hang on.
You are useless.
Let's get there. Finn Bassett. His bio is Norwich Milk. All you need to know. Wow.
Fair enough.
Hello, girls. Finn Bassett says, which player is getting the furthest on Strictly Come Dancing?
Ooh.
Go on.
Nunes.
Do you know, 100%.
Yeah, bit of salsa.
Quick feet.
Yeah.
Bit of that.
And you know what? I'm not stereotyping here, but you would have thought
South Americans are good at dancing.
No, that as well. The average Strictly viewer is probably slightly older.
Right.
I think old women love Nunes. Just
I think we
cheery.
Oh, hang on. We all love Nunes.
Yeah, but we don't all phone to vote on Strictly.
Tell me a Norwich fan that doesn't like Nunes. They're not a Norwich fan. Simple as that.
Yeah. I think Nunes, probably let's think of a left field one, because Nunes is the obvious one. Onel.
Grant Hanley.
He'll be like Tony Adams.
Oh, I'll take the high road and you'll take the low road. And I'll be in Scotland before ye. Oh dear. Let's swiftly move on.
You find another question.
Yes.
Oh, this is a good one from Betmate. Who's better at Betmate?
Oh, fuck
off. We love Betmate. Well, I love Betmate. Chris hates them. Of course, sponsor our preview content. A brilliant app.
Can you just hang on?
When I go on the leagues that we both enter against you guys, I start from the bottom because I know that's where I'll find Chris.
Yeah.
And then I'll scroll up.
But on a serious note, right? Because someone, I mean, as always, it's social media. Someone tweeted us some sort of nonsense over the weekend about our partnership. Could you explain because you explained it better than me? Could you actually explain Betmate to the great Norwich City community? Because I think people think that it's like hardcore betting, right? But honestly, it's in my opinion, it's fantasy Premier League,
yes,
right? But it's so much easier to win money.
Well, it's fantasy football, based scoring, slightly different elements, but it's fantasy football based scoring, and the most amount that I've seen you can spend is a £5.
Right.
Our pots are usually £2.
Yeah.
And there will be a guaranteed payout. So typically for ours, £2 to buy in, £100 payout, and that's shared across. I've won it a couple of times this season.
That's right. That's what I wanted to say. So
it'll usually be around top 6 get paid out.
The top 6, effectively fantasy Premier League style points.
Look, I love it. It is gambling, so you've got to be 18.
Absolutely.
And if you don't like gambling, don't do it.
No, 100% no. And we're not encouraging that. I'm just saying, like, I think people think it's hardcore and it's not. It's just a bit of light-hearted fun.
You know what, honestly, the thing from my nerdy point of view, the app is beautiful. It's so well designed.
Let's talk about something else. I don't care. I've put this as a question.
You have. I need to read up on this because
how do you? No, you don't. You can answer the question directly.
No, let me read it because
There's another bit of scandalous news coming out of Great Yarmouth recently on the main BBC website. Might I add, council rejects planting. Hang on. Council rejects planting of hazardous fruit trees. Well, surely in the climate that we're in, trying to do good for the world and plant more trees, why have Great Yarmouth decided to not plant them? Let me tell you why. They've not planted them because there is a genuine fear that the windfalls, aka the fruit that falls on the floor, will be used as missiles.
Well,
What's a horrible little place? What's a horrible little... You should be ashamed of yourself.
look, there's two things to take here, because what you're doing is actually providing fake news. Because if you
hang on, it's on the BBC website.
Yeah, if you read further down, there will still be a total of 92 trees planted.
Well, it's not enough.
Just not the fruity version. And also, I encourage...
I think the people of Yarmouth need fruit,
and
frankly.
implore the Great Yarmouth Borough Council to actually scrap the fruit trees, give us actual missiles to fire at inner city snobs like this, and end this nonsense once and for all.
Okay, fine. Look, read it up.
I don't want an apple to throw at this man. I want a bazooka.
Look, read it up for yourself, people. It's on the TNC Twitter questions. Council rejects planting of hazardous fruit trees. BBC News. Read it for yourself. And Jack Wright has actually followed up on this, giving us an update on, and a lot of you podcast watchers will remember that Great Yarmouth have a serious problem with starling shit. Yes, that's right, starling shit. And it's still an absolute mess. The council...
What do you want us to do? Kill the birds?
The council are now trimming back the trees to stop the starlings nesting in them because they'll shit everywhere. I mean, it's just... I don't even know where to begin with that.
Well, it sounds as if you want us to create some kind of murderous campaign against birds.
No, what I want is you to let those birds live.
What, shit everywhere?
Yeah, and well, look, they need to shit somewhere, and the perfect place to shit in the UK, if it's not Ipswich, is Great Yarmouth. Next question. Let's go to... I'll tell you a cracker. This is an absolute cracker, this one, from Ben Jones. I think this is question of the week.
Wow.
Benny Jones _89 on Twitter. Let's read the bio. Professional Uno player on the European tour. Wow. Norwich City fan, very amateur footballer, music lover. He's based in Exeter, by the way.
Wow. He's got everything going on, old Benny boy.
You are designing the new Norwich City Monopoly board game. Which past or present player are you picking as Old Kent Road, which for you American viewers that don't understand what Monopoly is, do they have
Monopoly in America?
Right, Old Kent Road.
I mean, they might
or
not.
Mayfair. So which Norwich player, past or present, is Old Kent Road, and which one's Mayfair?
So what?
I couldn't imagine a Yank playing Monopoly, could you? I'll tell you what.
Hoffa could play.
Could you imagine Magic Mike, aka Marcatani Arce, playing Monopoly?
Yeah,
I wouldn't want to play against him.
Well, he'd beat you, wouldn't he?
He'd have like 15 hotels on Mayfair within 5 minutes. Anyway, come on, answer the question.
So how are we judging it?
Right, so basically the idea is that, of course, Old Kent Road is the cheapest property to purchase, and Mayfair is the most expensive on the Monopoly board.
But how are we judging
I don't know,
value?
Just pick one. Okay, let's make it easier. On the current squad.
Okay. Old Kent Road.
Yeah.
Mickey McGovern. Bit washed up.
That's fraudulent from you.
Seen better days.
That is...
Mickey, I love you. I love you, Mickey.
That's harsh. That's harsh from Mickey.
That's not a compliment to anyone.
You're talking... I don't know who I'm going to give it to. That's the Irish Buffon you're talking about.
You're basically saying pick a player that nobody wants and is shit.
Well, I'm not. Look,
well, you pick one then.
I will say Old Kent Road is... Hang on. You think of one for Mayfair.
Mayfair, I would say...
This is a really...
is...
challenging question.
Mayfair is Max Aarons. Everyone wants him.
Really?
High value. Linked with Barcelona and Bayern Munich. Oh, look at me.
I think Max is sort of the pack down from Mayfair.
Oh.
I mean, I would say your Mayfair is Timu Pukki. He's been there, done that, got the T-shirt, scored all the goals, beaten all the records.
Yeah.
Top baller, one player of the season. He's Mayfair.
Okay.
Current player as Old Kent Road.
Well,
I would say
probably
is...
poor old Kenny.
Well, actually, do you know what? I'd probably have to say Isaac Hayden because he's not played for us.
Yeah.
That's a good get out, isn't it? I've done well to
Derelict
get out of that.
house.
I've done well to get out of that. Love you, Isaac. Genuinely. Can't wait to watch you.
A broken man.
Okay. Question from Chrissy Dayton, friend of the channel. He says, where the hell is Kings Lynn Thai bloke? Our form has dropped off a cliff since we last saw him. Coincidence? I think not.
Well,
Kingsley Tie Bloke.
Kingsley Tie Bloke. If you don't know who Kingsley Tie Bloke is,
could you imagine just tuning
a
into
watch-along legend. Always in the comments, but only ever
in the watch-alongs.
In the watch-along. Doesn't comment on any other video, not on Twitter, nothing.
Yeah, we only see him on watch-alongs.
But he did appear on Tuesday.
I just think, wow.
Yeah.
What a guy.
I don't even know if he's a Norwich fan.
Could you imagine? Do you remember when Kingsley Tie Bloke commented saying "Zombie Nation pounding in the flat"? Where is the flat?
Yeah.
I mean, you'd like to think it was King's Lynn, but maybe he's moved on from King's Lynn.
Yeah.
Maybe he's gone from King's Lynn back to Thailand. These are the questions, King's Lynn Tie Bloke, that we need answers to.
My favourite watch-along hero of all time, either Big Bad Barry, or No Chill Cashy.
Well, you would like No Chill Cashy. Big Bad Barry with his fish.
Legend.
Oh, what a boy. Absolutely love him. Let's go next for, I think this is a statement from Erland. If you weren't entertained by the Preston game, then you won't be entertained by us all season. Lots of goals, lots of goal mouth action, and of course, lots of defensive mistakes. Yes, we lost, but it was an entertaining game of football. Agreed?
Well, I enjoyed Saturday as much as I enjoyed us drawing 1-1 to Wigan. I enjoy watching Norwich City.
Dom Spencer at Southern Canary _ on Twitter. Statement. After we go up, Josh Sargent scores 18 Premier League goals as the lone striker next season.
As the what? Lone striker?
I tell you what, Dom. Someone's been taking advantage of the old...
Someone's put some Lakens in your shreddies, mate, I think.
Mixed case offer. I mean, that's quite something.
After we go up, Josh Sargent scores 19 Premier League goals as lone... Oh, sorry. As in single... I thought you meant as in a loan to someone else.
Yeah, what? To Man...
I see.
Yeah, if he gets a loan to Man City, maybe.
Well...
Goodness gracious.
I've seen stranger things happen.
Okay, here we go. Craig Dye with a I tell you what, statements left, right, and centre. Craig Dye, maybe an unpopular opinion, but I think we looked a lot more threatening in the diamond formation Saturday. Saw the midfield and cut out the silly defensive errors, and I think we'll be fine. Hashtag OTBC.
Agreed.
I love people that hashtag OTBC.
Yeah.
No one engages on it, but I just love it.
Yeah, agreed.
It's like Craig knows that he's got characters to use, so he'll chuck an OTBC on there.
Why not? Andy says, which is the lesser of two evils? The standard of championship officiating or VAR?
We can actually agree on this, can't we?
Yeah. I would take a decision like Saturday every week for no VAR.
VAR is sapping the soul out of the game we love, and it is poison. And do you know what?
No, I agree.
There's these top-end journos that are having swanky meals with these officials quite clearly. It's like, sorry, the big important people at the Premier League, not the officials, because they're saying, well, actually the technology's fine, it's just the people using it.
I don't give a shit.
Or just fuck it off then.
Yeah.
Stop using the bloody nonsense.
Yeah.
It's an absolute load of nonsense.
I think, and I don't have the data to back it up because I don't have the time. I tweeted this right on Saturday. I'd had a few Guinnesses. And
that's unlike you to be drinking. Guinnesses? Don't you mean Lakens?
I had a few Guinness. I'd run out of Lakens. I couldn't be arsed for people's bullshit. But I tweeted to say over the course of a season, like, the decisions going for you and against you will even out.
Yes.
And someone replied, I'm sure he's a lovely bloke, well, do you have the data to back that up? Obviously not. Why would I have the data to back that up?
Do you have the data to back that up?
No, I don't.
Oh, no. Because guess what? We're emotional football fans.
And guess what? I'm 6 pints deep.
Oh, we absolutely love it. And here's one from Ron Morero.
Oh, God.
I'd tell you what.
God, I love that.
Oh, God. He's holding up the 93 kit. I'll tell you what, Ron Morero.
You know what Ron is?
That's name of the week. That is name of the week by a country mile.
Ron is a school. What do they call the people on the board at schools?
Yeah, chairman or something like that?
Something like that.
Yeah, he is a chairman, isn't he? 100%.
He's doing well.
He reeks of it. He absolutely reeks of it.
I've never met a man called Ron who hasn't been successful.
I'm sorry. I am sorry to give Ron Morero the name of the week. That's name of the month. 100%.
Morero, yeah.
His question is,
wow.
If McLean is going to start, and we know for a fact he will, should he be at left back?
Oh. Shall I throw in something here that isn't going to happen, shouldn't happen, but would get me go if it did happen?
Go on then. Talk to me.
Sarah comes in.
Yeah.
McLean shifts to left back.
Yeah.
Sam Byram to right back.
Yeah.
Aaron's dropped.
You've really got it in for Maxi at the moment.
No, I haven't.
You've got it in for Maxi at the moment.
I just think it could work.
Let us know. Do you agree with Jack?
And also, I'm not going to say who it was because I think that would be unfair, but the person I was speaking to, well known in the Norwich City sphere, is convinced that when Dimi Anulis returns from injury...
I forgot about the Emperor of Norfolk.
He will be at left back and Byron will be at right back.
I forgot about the Emperor of Norfolk.
Put that one in your bloody soccer bottle, smoker.
Yes, please. Absolutely love that. Come on, you read a few questions.
I'm going to go a question from Chris Dayton, who says, question, what's the correct condiment to put on your curbside football hot dog outside of the ground?
So for me, it's HP. It's brown sauce.
On a hot dog?
I think so.
Really?
Let me guess, you're a basic bitch and you're going to say ketchup.
Ketchup and mustard, I think.
Mustard?
On your hot dog, yeah.
Oh, mate.
Yeah.
You're such a mustard lover, aren't you?
You put brown sauce in a sausage bat, but not on a hot dog.
You reek of mustard.
Yeah, I like mustard. It's the pride of Norwich.
What I would say, I'll put this out there, I wouldn't be getting a hot dog. Who's getting a hot dog on a match day? It's all about the hog roast.
Yeah.
And that hog roast on the back of the south stand.
About time you spoke some sense.
Seriously, I tell you what, hog roast is the best match day food. Like, that's no debate. Don't even at me. 100%.
I think if I were to ever get married, I would have a hog roast at the wedding. No vegans allowed.
Well, let me know. Sorry for you vegans watching and listening, including our sponsors. By the way, I'm having a hot dog. I'm having a hog roast for my 30th, by the way, just to let you know. And you are invited.
I thought that was been and gone your 30th.
I
thought you were knocking on 40 at this point.
Let's quickly move on. Statement from Zeki.
From who?
Zeki.
Nice.
Knock 'em downs on Twitter. I tell you what, this Lakins is seeping into the bloodstream now. Sargent is the greatest US export of all time. Well, yeah, we have to agree with that.
Yeah.
Obviously, that goes without saying. Right, this is the one that... Sorry about that. That's a bit hard.
Quite fun.
Sorry about that. Sorry about that. These players are out of contract. Oh, sorry. Right. Shanghai...
Right, deep breath.
Hang on a minute.
And just go again.
This is absolutely class. We've got a question from Shanghai Canary.
Nice.
That's absolutely
Let's
wonderful.
have a look.
That's wonderful, isn't it?
Brilliant.
Shanghai Canary. And I usually read out the bio, but his cover photos is him cycling on the beach and there's reflections. And I tell you
Where's that? Scrappy?
He is absolutely living the dream. Anyway, this is a good and important question.
Okay.
And Michael Bailey put
we need to be serious
in his athletic article. Yeah, so let's take a big breath.
Okay, serious.
These players are out of contract next season. Who are you keeping or letting go?
Oh, okay.
Michael Bailey had this in his one of his recent athletic articles. Definitely make sure you're on the Athletic, by the way. So these are the players out of contract.
Shall we do keep and sell as you read them?
Yeah. Mickey McGovern.
Gone.
You're letting him go straight away.
Yeah,
like
we've got
no emotion.
Big Bad Barden.
God, I love
We've got is McCracken still about?
Loan. What, he's on loan?
Right, okay.
Why did you laugh at that? Was that funny?
It's just a funny name, isn't it? I'm sorry.
McCracken. I love it. I'd be scared coming up against him.
Oh yeah, you would.
I'm really up for a bit.
What's
of
his dad's name? Phil.
Oh my god. Phil McCracken. Oh mate, that's coming. That's actually quite good from you.
Oh, that's just a classic.
That is actually quite good from you too.
Oh
god. Do you know what?
McGovern
I love jokes when they're so shit they're good. I really do. Anyway, right. Mickey McGovern. Gone. Okay.
Sorry, Mickey. Love you, mate.
Oh, I'm so sorry to people watching this. Phil McCracken. Oh, jeez. Oh, God. Sam Byram.
Keep.
Well, Dino says he's future captain material.
One of my players of the season. And I am being serious.
God, I need to stop thinking about Phil. Kenny McLean.
Sell. Well, not sell. not renew.
I'll put this out there. I have been told from a very reliable source. In fact, no, actually, I can't tell you that. No, go on, I'll tease it. I've been told from a reliable source that there is a club up north that are have been very interested in Kenny McLean.
Well, I
and
think,
obviously,
I think it'd be the right move for him.
Given the Scottish
He's
connection.
a class player and deserves
Do you know
somewhere.
what I will say? I
further
feel like I've said this in the last podcast. I'll say this again. Here's what I'd say about Kenny. Slate him all you want. Cost us 100 grand.
Yeah.
And busts his balls every
He's
game
been-
for our football club. Right? And at the end of the day...
Kenny is one of those players that we won't know how good he was until he leaves.
Yeah. No, I totally agree with that. Yeah. Much like Dennis Trebeni.
Right, so we've done 2 of those players.
Sorry. You really put me off. Kieran Dow.
Leave.
We've got ruthless, mate.
Yeah, we've got so many players in that area, and Kieran Dow's at the bottom of the list for me.
You wouldn't keep Daldino as a squad player?
No.
Wow. Onel Hernandez.
Keep.
Yeah. Solid keep. Genuinely. Dan Al-Sanani.
Release.
Sell. Release? Oh yeah, he's out of contract.
All of them are. That's why
Cheerio.
we're doing it.
Todd Cantwell.
Oh,
Point to prove.
goodness. This is a...
I think
This is the interesting one, isn't it?
I think, based upon what we've seen so far, I'd be keeping him. Because I think that
I
John,
don't
it's
know.
tough call.
I wouldn't be surprised either way with that one.
no, I wouldn't be surprised either way, but I would like to see him stay. Timu Pukki.
God, it's a big summer, isn't it? Big summer.
See, I don't think Pukki's going to get to
I
summer.
think- I think
genuinely think he's going to be sold in January.
The thing with footballers is you want them to go out while they're on top. And I think with Timu, we've had his best days. He's been an utterly glorious player for Norwich.
Yes.
But I think it might be... I hope he stays for this season. I hope you're wrong there. I hope he does stay for this season.
I hope I'm wrong, by the way. I just have this feeling.
I think maybe come this summer, maybe might be time.
Jordan Hugels.
I like Jordan, but I don't think Dean does.
I'll put it out there. I'd like Jordan Hugel to stay.
Okay.
I'd like to see him given a contract because I still think that he's got something to give this football club.
Okay.
Josh Martin, release.
Is he still our player?
Yeah.
Didn't even realise.
There you go.
Right, let's do one final one.
Go on.
And let's end with a good one.
I feel like we've not got through
We haven't.
half enough questions
We're an hour odd in.
because you've banged on about
I've filled
Phil.
McCracken. What's your...
Watford away.
Watford
Excited?
away, buzzing. And I just saw a question about the drum, actually.
And if anyone is at Watford away,
We're going.
We're there.
My God.
So we look forward to seeing you there.
When was my last away game?
We'll be there with Craigo, so do say hello.
I think my last away game... Oh, I know what it was, actually. It was Charlton. In the cup when Milo Rashica scored.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
And then prior to that was Tottenham.
Love that from you. Were you about to read a question? Or you
Yeah,
just
no,
sucked it off?
it was regarding the drum.
Right.
And they said how excited they've been
Yeah.
with the drum at away games this season. I think it will be at Watford because...
I don't think it will. I've been told by City Elite, the people behind the drum, that it isn't allowed.
Oh, what? I thought it was there last season.
Really sorry to say that. But
I'm sure it was there when Sargent scored the
I
Scorpion.
feel like we say this every week. Big up to City Elite. Seriously, big up to them. Who are making a massive difference to the away atmosphere at the moment.
You know
Shame
what I
that
love?
we can't get them at Carrow Road because the Barclays still like a morgue.
The photo I saw from one of the lads, the drummer, who took a photo of his hand full of blisters
good.
and just said, "I will drum through the pain."
Yeah, good. yeah.
How hard are you holding that drumstick?
Mate, you've got to fucking bleed for the crest. You've got to bleed for the crest.
No, I am buzzing
and
for it, though.
Fight for the badge.
What's your favourite thing about an away day? What are you most looking forward to?
I just love the chants. I love a chant.
On the concourse.
Oh God, it gets me going.
My favourite thing about an away day is you have a couple of pints in the pub pre and then you walk up.
A couple.
And as you're probably 200 yards away,
you
start to hear the chants from the concourse.
Do you like that?
Oh God, I love it.
Do you like that? You like sort of being
crackle.
You like being teased a bit.
Tease me and just lure me in. And then you walk through the turnstiles and you see all of the rogue faces you know and love.
Yeah.
Those
good.
lads who've done 800 miles in a week. to watch us at Blackpool,
Yes.
and then to watch us at
Yes.
wherever we play,
Yes.
Birmingham,
Yes.
Rotherham,
Yeah.
and they'll be there.
And there's a real strong stench of piss.
Yeah.
And good.
Yeah.
Because that's the passion that you want to see.
Put that piss up my nostrils.
That is shocking from you.
Oh, the
That
smell of it.
is shocking. That's... Oh
Anyway,
my-
I'm looking forward to Watford. I'm looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to the smells, the noise, the goals.
That's the worst thing you've ever said on the podcast.
And I've said some bad things.
You said some bad things.
Yeah.
Oh, see you at Watford.
It's been a joy.
See you at Watford.
Yeah,
looking forward to it. And if you've enjoyed this podcast, do give us a tweet at TalkNorwichCity. Don't forget, this episode is dedicated to Norfolk and Waveney Mind. You can donate to the guys that are making a difference to people challenged by mental health in our local area via the link in the description.
You can. Thanks for watching. We'll see you all again very soon. Bye-bye.